noon until 2 on WRMN 1410 AM. Also streaming on WRMM's website, WRMN1410.com. You could also pick us up live on their YouTube channel, which is WRMN 1410's YouTube channel. And it's if you missed the shows, they're kept on there, and they're also on our YouTube channel, the Chief Guard of the Republic YouTube channel. So I upload them all commercial free. And okay, you call us in, and we already got some callers on the line, 847-931-1410. For those of you that don't want to talk on the line, we have the magic text number out of New Mexico, 505-926-1410. So here we are, and I have some very, we talked about leadership styles and subject matter expert styles, and I have the subject matter experts for our topic today, which is basically House Bill 5085 for Illinois. And so I have Jen Solum here.
Nice to meet you. Thank
and
you.
Then I have Dutch Degroot here. And they are the veteran advocate, subject matter experts completely. And as you know, this show started out as the Veterans Radio Shoutout Show. So any veterans organization that wanted to call in and get their events, they just had to call in, and I would put it on the air, right? We have listeners all the way over in Australia. I have some regular callers out of San Francisco, Cleveland, and other places. So House Bill 5085 has to do with the Veterans Assistance Commission. So, Jen, could you tell us what a Veterans Assistance Commission in Cook County in the state of Illinois is?
Yeah, Veterans Assistance Commissions actually go back to 1874. They were initially created for the Soldiers, Sailors, and Marines Relief Act after the Civil War. So what our responsibilities are, we're governed by state statute, ILCS 350-45, that states that any county that has certain eligibility requirements can come together with veteran service organizations within that county and create the Veterans Assistance Commission. And our goal overall is to assist veterans and their families with helping to file for benefits, financial assistance, transportation programs. Every VAC offers different resources, but overall we were created to support veterans and their families in the counties.
So, the state law mandates that we have this Veterans Assistance Commission.
Yes, sir.
All right, and it's all right. So we have a thing already. So we have the VA, the federal VA. There, we also have the state of Illinois Department of Veterans Affairs, the IDVA. So we have the VA, the IDVA, and we have the Cook County Department of Veteran Affairs, the CCDVA. And we also have, in Chicago at least, we have the Mayor's Office of Veterans Affairs. And we have all these organizations, but we know the federal organization is mandated is by law because that is a cabinet position. Mm-hmm. So the secretary of the VA is actually in line to be president. Mm-hmm. Right? That's how important they take these VA matters. But that's the federal government. And the federal government, again, although you think they have unlimited resources, they have limited resources with some things, and they have a limited focus. So I think that the Veterans Assistance Commissions are excellent because it brings a localized focus down to the county level. And I know I read through the laws, and one of the things is that it doesn't have to be administered by a county. It could be administered by the largest city in that county. So
not really. No, it has to be a county entity. But what's
okay.
But what's unique about the VACs is they are a one-stop shop. They can do things that nobody else can. Other service organizations, not the IDVA, not that. They can give instantaneous help to people that are really in trouble. Okay, when people come to the VAC, they need help, and we're their final stop. So it's really important. It's life-saving. Okay, it is absolutely life-saving. And
yeah, no. In fact, just to stress this out, when people go to the Cook County Department of Veterans Affairs and they're indigent, they're in trouble, they need money, they need help, like immediately, the Cook County Department of Veterans Affairs sends them over to the VACCC, the Veterans Assistance Commission of Cook County. It says it right on their webpage, that they send it over to you for immediate help, because they don't distribute this aid through there. That aid is distributed through the VACCC or the VAC of any other county. So, yeah, it's immediate help. There's you go in, you talk to them, and then they determine on the spot what help they could give you. Whereas if you got to go through the federal government for your federal veterans benefits, it takes a while, because you got to apply and they got to vet everything and make sure that it's all good. So that could take 6 months, a year, years. But this is people. These are people that need help right now.
Yes, and it's mostly people that minorities, many minorities, many people that they are really having a hard time. And again, they're worried about putting food on their table. They're worried about paying their rent and getting kicked out. And we are that place that stops that. This is why this bill, HB 5085, is absolutely a travesty that is being brought upon our community.
Yeah, because the now someone in our state representative decided, to enter this bill. The VACCC has been there, and budgeting. We've always had to produce a budget. We've gone to Cook County Board and asked for an increase in the budget, and we've told them how this actually benefits the county, because we hire a thing called veteran service officers, and we got a couple working, and these are the people that basically take a veteran by the hand and assist him with getting his federal benefits, all right, which probably the deepest pockets for this are the federal government. Once you get him those federal benefits, you take a person that's in need of help and you remove him from the county health system and transfer him over to the VA health system. The money that he gets to assist him, because he might not be able to work anymore, is being spent in the county, and the county's recovering that money in taxes, right? But now, when the state mandates that the county fund the VACCC, there are deep state members within the county, and everyone knows what I mean by deep state members, that are looking at that funding and wondering, how can I use this to maintain my power and influence within the county? And they're like, why should the VACCC decide how they can spend the money?
That's somewhat true. I don't know all the reasons why they would go against the VAC system. There's basically, we just found out right now, which was surprising, and I'm a little shocked by it, that Cook County was actually part of this bill, and we thought we had a great relationship with them. We always knew that Lake County had some dissidents, and so did Will County. But to be honest, most of our legislators are just very supportive. We live in a state that should be number one in the country for veterans benefits. The things that our legislators have done in Springfield are amazing, okay? And the VAC, Military Veterans Assistance Act, was one of them. The problem is we don't know why people want to take this away from the veterans that are controlling it. We've been doing a good job, and they're talking about transparency. So let me wrap up this bill, this HB 5085, and how it's looked. So they've packaged it where you're not showing enough transparency. It's a beautiful little package. It's something wrapped, and it says, oh, look at this. Oh, maybe if we have more transparency from the VACs, this and that, we'll make a law, this and that. And then you open this package, and there's just a big pile of manure in there, okay? And what this is, it's a step way to get into the VA system and destroy it. This is one of the worst bills I have ever seen, and I've been dealing with legislation for a while. And to see that some of these, not everybody, okay, we've got some great politicians out there. We've got some great county commissioners. I'm sure that for Cook County, it's not all the commissioners that are in line with this. They probably don't even know what's going on. But there are actually four, what is it, ISICO?
ISACO.
Yeah, ISICO. Okay, that is one of the lobbying firms. We've got 4 county board members from Cook County on there, one from Lake County, one from Will County. I don't understand why they're doing this, taking a great system and trying to destroy it. If you do an analysis of this bill, and I'm not an attorney, but I'm playing one on radio right now. Okay, and if you're an attorney and you look at this bill, it basically is a hit job on the VACs.
Hey, Paul, you got the disclaimer?
Yeah,
Paul's going to read the disclaimer.
I'm going to read the disclaimer. Okay, so
All right.
the information on this show is for informational purposes only and should not be construed as legal advice on any subject matter. The views put forward on this show are the opinions of the hosts Michael Tuman, Paul Burvitt, their guests, callers, and not necessarily those of WRMN 1410. Can I interject a little bit of something here? Because actually, I am an attorney, and I kind of know what's going on. All right, it's not in the section you sent me. Okay, it's actually, and your guests, I'm sure, will be well aware of this. It's in section 45.2. Okay, and what it is how this is funded. And then you sent me some blurbs too. There's a different funding system based on taxes. There's like a 10%, a 2%, a 3%. If there's a carryover for another year, they don't tax you, they don't levy you. So what it comes down to is this program gets funded 3 ways: by general taxes, which was the levy, by county funds, and by the state funds, okay? And what's happening is the counties you're mentioning, they don't want to give you any money. They want to retard this so that they can give their pet programs for their social welfare things. They don't care about veterans, okay? And in viewing this is very familiar to me, because as you know, for 5 years, I was part of a group from the Attorney General's office that regulated charities. The violations of this act, and I don't necessarily want to get into that, are very similar to what happens with charities, where you're under an administrative review, okay? And your rights are slightly different. They issue you administrative subpoenas. We used to call them orders to produce, okay? And they want to get you in a little bit of a trick bag system, where what they do is they mail you a letter, supposed to be certified mail, very often isn't. They turn it over to the Attorney General. And I don't even know who at the Attorney General does these, because I don't remember us ever doing these, but you're under the purview of the Illinois Attorney General. Okay, and then they can there's already a function for them to get into your milieu now with this Attorney General thing. And this is a flat out, this section that they want to amend is just a flat out, they don't want to fund you. And if they do fund you, they want to give it to their friend and make you, I mean, there's reports that have to be filed on January 1st. There's things you have to get by March the 1st. So you're already under a constraint. And then you either have to turn yourselves over to the county auditor or pay for an independent auditor to produce these things. And then, so what it is, it's a political hack job to make sure you guys don't get your money, because in their view, you guys aren't important enough. You're not the squeaky wheel, all right? And that's exactly why they've proposed this. And they made it an amendment to the law that's already there that has significant oversight. I mean, I looked at it. There's just like the Charitable Trust Act. There's penalties on if you don't follow this. There's litigation that could be done. So what they're trying to do is they're basically, it's a war on validly serving veterans. And what's bad is The guys that need the programs, the women that need the programs are going to be frustrated in getting it because they want to give it to, Freddie's dog rehabilitation or something like that. So, I mean, I feel for you guys. And what I would suggest is that all your members and every member of VFW Post,
American Legion,
that you inundate these fools with letters, individual letters, and you can get their name. Mike will find out who's sponsoring the bill. Get your kids to write them. You get your grandkids to write them, and even a little note on a piece of notebook paper, even with the misspellings. Please help my grandpa. You're trying to hurt him. And have their friends write them. Ask the Boy Scouts to write them. Ask the Girl Scouts to write them. Inundate these fools with letters, okay? And then tell them that, November's coming up, and veterans have a long history of service, and they have a long memory.
Absolutely. And it's the VACCC is outside of Cook County government. They're self-governed by veterans, all right? They're veterans self-governed. They're not political appointees, all right? It's all veterans self-government. And they're also outside of the American Legion, the VFW. They include all of these groups. So it's not just the American Legion running things. It's not just the VFW running things. It's not just the disabled American veterans running things. It's not just the women's veterans. It's not the Polish Legion of American Veterans. It's not any one veteran group running this. It's all of them coming together to the VACC and saying, we need to help our veterans in Cook County and the other counties. How do we do that together? Because my post, $45 to be a member, right? And $5 of that, $40 of that goes downstate for per capita, and they kick some of it up to national, right? Leaving us $5 per member to do veterans help, right? So we have to have fundraisers and everything, but we're also paying county taxes and we're paying state taxes. And a lot of other veteran organizations, they don't have deep pockets like this, but if we get together, and this is mandated by law that we be funded, right, through Cook County property taxes, probably the largest property tax producer in the state of Illinois, right, all this property tax coming in, and they don't want to kick over the money. And then when they do kick over the money, like if we had a budget we had $2.9 million, and we got that budget. And they were very nice. The county gave us that budget, but then they were having problems with letting us spend it, and we had to litigate that stuff and everything. But the thing is, you got the people in the bureaucracies, like you said, Paul, and these are unelected people, but they're being appointed, and they have centralized their power. And money comes power. Spending money comes power. I could spend my money at my brother-in-law's furniture shop, or I could spend my money at this lowest bidder place that's going to give me, good quality stuff, and I'm going to save a lot of money. Now I'm going to go to my brother-in-law because then my brother-in-law is going to knock on doors and everything to keep my guy in, and then my brother-in-law is going to find a way to get some of that money back to me somehow. But even if I don't get a kickback in the money, I got the kickback in the power, in the control. I tell my brother-in-law to do something now, and he does it.
Well, kickbacks don't necessarily have to be a quid pro quo. They could just be power.
Yeah, power.
Kickback, political influence is power, not necessarily money back. Yeah. It's power. It's power. And as I read this, there's also a mechanism for them to put somebody on the board, but the person has to be a veteran. But the person they put on the board has to can't go in private meetings and can't vote. So they already have their control, and they already got their inside guy. All right, and it's under the guy, and I know what the I know what the legislative mechanism is. You got to keep receipts. You can't just give money and say, I gave it to a guy in the corner. You have to say who you gave it to. There has to be an acknowledgement. There has to be a receipting process. It's all required for auditing. But they already have a guide. They put somebody in there to watch you, to go to your meetings, to this, and that's already in this act.
Yeah, Mike.
All right, let's take a caller.
May I actually just say something really quick before? I just want to reiterate the significance of VACs and what we actually are able to do. When you're looking at the cost-benefit analysis of what VACs are able to provide, I just want to point out some statistics. In Illinois, there's just under 600,000 veterans. There's 54 VACs, and there are more coming, which is amazing to start filling some of those benefit deserts. We served over 120,000 of the veterans, and Illinois alone, just back in 2025, brought in 178 millions. And I just want to make sure it is a point of record that not every county and VAC have a contentious relationship. I would say more counties than not actually do support their veterans. They do support their VACs. So I just want to make sure it's not across the state.
Let me just introduce Jen is actually the president of the Illinois Association of County VACs. So she basically oversees all the VACs in Illinois. So she's like the boss.
So we got a couple minutes. Can we take a short caller? Hello, who we got on the line? Oop, nobody. That was a real short caller. Got another caller here. Who do we have on the line? Wow. Well, you tried calling. They're all gone. Got someone on the line?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, greetings. Hey, I wanted to ask your benefits advisor, or you were clerk, or you work at that office, two different angles. Apparently, there was a firing of an officer that refused to take an illegal order.
Wait, hold on. I don't know what that guy was talking about. Maybe it was a previous show. Yeah.
No, you're talking about military benefits, right?
Yes. Yeah, we're talking about the VACCC and the VACs for the counties. So an officer in the military or in the VA?
Military.
Okay.
Yeah, this involves, you remember Kid Rock's house got buzzed by a helicopter the other day. And so Trump was trying to promote those flybys, and the commanding officer refused to drop the charges. Somebody that just takes a helicopter and goes buzzing a protest and fly by.
I can tell you what. All right. The commanding officer can refuse to drop the charges, but his commanding officer can drop the charges because it's called chain of command. All right. It's simple. All right. Thank you.
Right. But does the first commander lose his benefits?
No. He hasn't been dishonorably discharged. He's still in the service.
Well, Trump's trying. Trump is trying.
Okay, we're not political here. We don't care about that. You could say all that, but he hasn't lost a single benefit.
There was a similar incident in New Orleans where a military person took his helicopter out and they got a sniper and they tried doing the same thing and the charges were dropped. So they have the permission to do that.
All right. Comrades, we're back for the second quarter of the Chief Guard of the Republic radio show every Saturday, noon till 2 on WRMN 1410 AM. So we got a caller. Let's see. Hello, caller. Who do we have on the line?
Hey, Mike, this is Roger.
You got to turn off your radio, sir.
All right, let me go out. I got the TV on. I was listening to that.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Mike, this is Roger. How are you?
Hi, Roger. How you doing? Roger's with the Dunkin' Donuts veterans over there on Dempster.
Dempster, right.
Superstar.
And I just wanted to call in to say great explanation of the House bill. I'm glad you also mentioned that that the lawyer there, I'm sorry I don't remember his name.
Paul Bervin, my co-host.
Hi, Paul. And
Hi.
the lady that's ahead of the VACCs out in the suburban area.
Jen Solum.
Very well explained, very good program, and keep up the great work. I just wanted to call in to say that.
Thank you, Roger.
Thanks, Roger.
Thank you.
Thanks, Roger.
Have a great,
And to put in the
have a
plug,
great day.
I'm going to put in the plug that I put in every month, every show for right now for the Dunkin' Donuts veterans. And this is a group out there that gets the message out. And the nice thing is it's a group that wouldn't even have a representative in the VACCC because it's informal, all right, and it's non-political. And these guys are just veterans that show up to have coffee and donuts. And Roger and Carlos put out great information, and everyone that's got information from veterans there that's a veteran shows up. You don't register to be a member. You give them your email to be on the email list, or your phone number to be on the list in case a meeting gets canceled, which has never happened, right? But it's at 7039 on Dempster, just east of Halstead, all right, just east of Harlem, in Niles. Every Tuesday, guys start rolling in there at 8 o'clock, and the meeting starts at 9 with the Pledge of Allegiance. Any new guy introduces himself, and we go on with that. And if you're a veteran and you want to meet other veterans, come on in. All right, so that's the plug for those guys. And Roger and Carlos, great guys.
Superstars.
My neighbor across the street invited me, and I try not to ever miss a meeting. All right, so we Jen's sitting here and like we agreed that there's so many veterans things out there, and people get confused, right? So why do like she asked the question? Why people will ask why do we need any of this when we have the Veterans Administration, the big overall government? Well, they're the big government, and to apply for benefits, there's a whole bureaucratic process that takes a lot of time. And it takes some expertise to apply for these things. A lot of people are really, it's intimidating to say the least for a lot of people. But then there's people that need immediate help. And when you need someone that needs immediate help, you don't go to a federal government agency to try to get something immediately. You go to your local, you go to your neighbor, all right? And on the base level, the county veterans assistance things are your neighbor. We're the base level. They actually go out and help these veterans. You're short of the rent. You're looking at an eviction. You're a veteran and you're falling on hard times. Go to the VAC goes in, you talk to them, and they have to actually, a human being right there that you're facing right now, human being is working with you, and they can vet you and tell whether you need the help. That you're not going to get that from the federal government. I think sensible people understand this, that you need a neighbor, a human being that you talk to face. And on the base level, that's what the veterans, well, at least the Veterans Assistance Commission of Cook County does. Because I go to those meetings, and they tell us what to do, all right? They tell us they're very transparent into meetings. We follow the open meeting rule, right?
Correct.
The open meeting rule. You come in. The only thing you can't sit through is executive session when they're making decisions, all right, and everything. But everything else, you can see everything there. They publish the budget. They have it out there, what we're spending it on, what the money we spent on, how much did they give out? They have all that stuff already. But they're slipping the stuff in because, like you say, they want to make control and they want to take that money away. They want to make it, like I said, okay, the federal government's extremely intimidating when applying for your benefits. Well, they're trying to make it extremely intimidating for us to get the county funding. All right, Jen.
I'd just like to say, courts have consistently affirmed that VACs are independent governmental entities, and we are not subordinate to county boards. We do follow OMA. We do follow FOIA. We do follow transparency. We have already been following these for years. So to insinuate that we're not already following these creates distrust with the public that we're serving. So HB 5085 is mostly duplicative of existing law that we're already following, and it adds unnecessary language that does not improve services. It just becomes overly cumbersome, burdensome. Again, I want to reiterate, we are already doing what HB 55 is saying that we need to do. So it just,
Right. Maybe take a
Yeah.
call.
Yeah.
It's a redundancy that's actually more of a hindrance.
Yes. We got another caller? Hello, who do we have out there? Nope, another short caller.
Hello.
Hello, how you doing, sir?
Hey, how are you? My name is Raj Pillai.
Hi, Raj.
hi,
Yeah,
Raj.
not Roger. Hi, how are you?
Yeah.
I think I know your guess. I'm actually the former president of the Will County VAC and still a current commissioner.
Oh, okay. So what,
Yeah, so I just
you got a question?
go ahead. No, I just wanted to call in and say that Dutch and Jen are doing a great job. And the one comment that I'd like to add is I've been following this bill with Dutch, and back then the Will County VAC was in a lot of trouble, and Dutch came to the rescue when we were trying to fix it. And eventually, without going into it too much, I ended up having to sue some of the former commission members, and we really cleaned it up. And that ended up creating an amendment to the Military Veterans Assistance Act that you guys are looking at right now. And that fixed a lot of the things that they pretend that 5085 is for. But all 5085 is doing is giving the control that we veterans have on the commission and giving it over to politicians.
Yes.
And I am in full support of Dutch making sure that this bill dies. That's the only thing I wanted to say.
Yeah, absolutely. And straight, I'm going to say it again. The VACCC is run by veterans. It's for veterans, by veterans, and not by politicians. And any veterans group, whether it's SALT, the Legion, the VFW, you go into a meeting and someone starts to bring up politics, they get shut down. The meetings are absolutely not for politics.
We are apolitical.
Apolitical. You after the meeting, go to the bar, talk with your buddies about everything. But during that meeting, we don't. Okay, my post 104. Any politician come in and talk to us. That's fine. I don't care. Right? We'll give you time to talk, but we're not going to go out there and say post 104 supports this person. We're not saying that because we're not political. Because we don't want to owe favors to the politicians. We don't owe favors. They owe favors to us. We're the veterans. We're served. We served. They owe the favors to us. They owe the favors to the citizens that voted. So anytime they try to seize control of an anytime the politicians have seized control of an organization, has it gotten better or worse? The Department of Education. Right?
Absolutely. Can I just add one more thing, if you don't mind?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, so you know what? I wanted to ask you guys to think about something. When we were fixing the Will County VAC, it wasn't a huge mess. And they could have actually said, hey, look, why don't we take 5085 right now, and why don't we fix the Will County VAC? And you know why they didn't do that? If you think about it, that's because they had control and they had a hand in getting that VAC destroyed at that point.
Yes.
And when we fixed it, here's the thing. When we fixed it, we had a bunch of veterans come in. And I was more than proud to be the president at that time. And I ended up signing on the dotted line for Jen's appointment, and also honored to do that. But we fixed that VAC. We pushed that amendment through the assembly, and we had more oversight. Again, this is what they're pretending to do. And now that we have the oversight as veterans and not the politicians. And by the way, I say this as somebody that's deeply involved in politics in Will County, and I know who the players are. And now they're trying to take that away now that we have control, and we're doing a lot better job than the politicians, by the way. The Will County VAC itself, we give back about $4 million of our levy because we don't take the full $6 million. We operate on about $1.8 million. And Jen can clarify that, but that's our budget. We give back money to the taxpayer from the levy.
You give it back, but does the county give it back?
Yeah, exactly. That's another question. Yep.
We're not on the levy.
All right. So, no, that's the absolute thing. But I think that you guys should be hiring more VSO officers then. If you got that budget, you should definitely hire as many VSOs as you can get.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And my point was, we run under budget. We're one of the only few agencies in the government that do that, and we do a better job at it than the politicians do.
All right. So thanks a lot, Raj. We got another call.
Got a lot of calls.
Next, who else is on the line? Hello? Next, we're not going to wait forever for these people. It's like the marketers. I answer a call, I go hello. If they don't answer in a split second, I hang up on them.
This is Bill.
Hi, Bill.
Hello.
Hi, Bill.
Hi. How you doing? I'm calling on behalf of the Veterans Assistance Commission of Cook County. I've been actually involved in working with the Veterans Assistance of Cook County. They've been very, very transparent. I've been listening to what some of the other speakers have said, and I almost just want to kudos everything that they are doing. They have been very, very transparent. Many people are coming there and getting assistance. One of the biggest things about the VAC of Cook County is they not only help with the claims for the VSOs, by the VSOs, but they also provide many of the services that are out there for veterans who need rental assistance, gas assistance, and other type of assistance that is available to them. And they've also started a marketing services to provide other services for our veterans. I would think that this House Bill 5085 is a horrendous thing that would happen. I don't think it's right for people like the legislators that want to now come in and try to control what we are doing for our veterans. If we're not being transparent, if people are having a problem with us, then I can understand that. But I don't want this 5085 to penalize every VAC that's out there in the state of Illinois. You have many, many of the VACs that are doing what they're supposed to be doing. If there's somebody out there that is not doing what they're doing, then somebody should go after them, not go after all of us out here in Cook County. So I just want to express my point of view because I think it is very insistent. The fact that this Military Veterans Assistance Commission was created by the veterans, by the legislators many years ago, and it has worked very well. I have not had anybody to complain that they could not get assistance. One of the other good things about the VAC of Cook County, they've also created what we call a QR code where everything they have and places that they go out to, it provides an opportunity for a veteran who's looking for assistance to go in on that QR code, put the information in, and somebody that is at the VAC office right now, they will, not right now, but Monday through Friday, they will call that veteran back and ask them questions about what they can do to help them out. So I just want to give my 2 cents worth and say that please do not vote for this 5085. It is not going to help the veterans at all. It's going to put more hindrance on what we're trying to do to get more assistance for our veterans out here.
Yep, and like Paul said, write a letter to your state representative and your state senators. Kill this bill. Kill it with prejudice. Kill it all.
And write to the governor himself and the lieutenant governor.
Paul, the governor's staff, I can assure you, is listening to this show right now.
They're still going to get letters. I got a printer and I got an auto pen, so I can. I get to.
Well, one of the things that I do have is when I get these witness slips, and I like to pass them all to all my veterans and my friends, let them know they got to fill out this witness slip and get it in as soon as possible to our legislators.
Yeah, I should do that. I should do that at the Dunkin' Donuts Veterans.
Yeah. Thank you, Bill.
Thanks, Bill. We got another caller?
One of the things that I do have is when I get these witness slips, and I like to pass them all to all my veterans.
No.
Next.
Hello.
Who's calling? Hello? Nope.
Past superintendent for Lake County.
How you doing, Superintendent for Lake County?
No, past. We have a great superintendent now who's done a super job in getting bills through.
I think I met you before.
Yes, you have.
The Walk for 22 up in McHenry?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I remember you. Great guy.
Well, what I wanted to mention is that the Illinois Association of County VACs have a program for their own oversight. So we don't need this bill to be watching us because they're looking at self-accreditation. And I think that is a great way to improve the VACs. I also would like to state that we passed that bill to create the state charter to take care of those organizations that are not legitimate veterans organizations, so they don't have a seat on the county VACs. And Paul, being a lawyer, he could probably address that more.
Yeah, well,
like I said, there's a total mechanism already in place, and you're exactly right. Then there's a thing about how many groups you have. Each one gets one member and an alternate member. And then there's, several groups could get together and then they get 5 and they get 5. And again, the whole thing is under the purview of the investigation of the Illinois Attorney General. And that's where I worked for about 18 years, and I'm well aware of this. There's nothing that's coming into this proposal that isn't already in the bill or a mechanism that's already in there. And to me, all this is to frustrate it, but like everybody's saying, to make sure that you guys don't get the money in the proportions you need to do your job. Okay, this whole thing, if you read the whole bill, because I read the whole bill, the Attorney General has subpoena power. They have to command you. You have to go to circuit court to challenge that. There's investigations, there's fines, there's penalties. The whole thing is already in there. And to add these steps, which, like to have their own purchasing department tell you what to do and to potentially put you into a violation is meant nothing but to frustrate these good organizations. Okay. And, I realize that most of the organizations are in total compliance, which is the same thing with a lot of charities and stuff like that. But and there might be a few bad apples, but as the caller 2 callers ago pointed out, the mechanism was already there. They should have used it instead of trying to change this, okay? When you have something that's there and works, you use it. You don't fix it and cause a burden for all of the other groups or to reduce funding to all the other groups.
So may I also just touch back on what the gentleman was just saying? IAC-VAC did implement a program. IAC-VAC is self-identifying and self-correcting VACs who are not holding the standard for the MVAA. It is a self-accreditation. It is voluntary, but again, it is IAC-VAC recognizing that we are not accepting any VAC that is below the standard. And one of the most important parts as well for holding the VACs to the standard is to make sure that we are filling those benefit deserts and that they are providing the resources that we should be as far as having accredited veteran service officers who are filing claims, because we need to keep the claim sharks out of our state. And I just want to also touch that if HB 5085 passes, this reopens litigation between VACs and counties. It weakens veteran service delivery, creates new benefit deserts, blocks formations of new VACs, and enables the claim sharks to come into our state. So this does have serious implications other than what people are looking at it as a power grab. There are real consequences to this bill passing that will be detrimental to the services for the veterans.
And what's amazing, if I can kick in, is that the county veterans associations, not even counting Cook County, which we're still trying to walk and get funding for VSOs, and we've been hampered for years, is that they brought in almost $180 million in federal dollars into our state. Mm-hmm. There's a 4 times multiplier to that. I want people to understand. So these counties that are trying to destroy us, you're shooting yourself in the foot. These are taxable dollars you never saw again. You would absolutely destroy the VAC system. And I know the governor's staff is online here, and there are some issues with some of these people that are doing this to us. I hate to say it, Governor, but many of them belong in your party right now. You are in charge of the party. We are your constituents. The veterans are your constituents. You need to rein these people in. It's horrible.
Yeah. Okay. So
Just one last comment I'd like to make, and that is the fact that the more claims we process, the more money we bring into the county. There's an economic impact to the amount of claims that we process. And
absolutely.
The other point is I like to make is that the counties are spending money to hire lobbyists to fight the VACs. That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. And here, it's when the people that do this all right, to spend the money and everything. This is where they don't think they're being transparent. They think they're doing it in the dark, but it's obvious. It's obvious. It's absolutely obvious. Oh, you're going to fight the VACCC. Why? Because you're fighting for power. You're not fighting for the veterans. You know, no, the elected county and the deep state of the county cannot do a better job for the veterans than a self-governed organization of veterans can do for themselves. They know better. It all becomes influence. These people, you don't get into politics because you're humble, right? You don't get into politics because you really want to help the world or anything. You get in there because you got a big ego, and with your big ego comes a big need to control. All right. So when you enter politics into this VACCC in any way, you're showing that it's your big ego, right? That you want the power, that you want to push this down. Okay. To put this in, I like to put things in simple terms. I'm a simple guy. If my kids come up and ask me for something, and I don't want them to have it, but I don't want to say no. Because if I say no, I'm the bad guy. So what I'll do is, like, when my daughters wanted to rent an apartment, right? I thought she was a little young and everything. And I said, okay, as soon as you show me in cash in your hand, the first month's rent, the security deposit, and the last month's rent in hand, cash, all right? I will co-sign for your lease. So I gave her, I didn't say no, but I gave her a near impossible task that I knew she couldn't complete. And guess what? You know, I didn't co-sign for the lease because I didn't have to. Here is the county saying, well, if we can't stop these people and if we can't control the spending, we just won't let them do it at all. And we'll create such an impossible task for them that we basically shut them down without shutting them down. Oh, no, we didn't say anything. We said we just wanted you to be more transparent, but we are transparent. Does that make sense?
We've got some great chats. The chat board is blowing up.
Yeah.
One quick one I see from John downstate. How many veterans organizations were consulted prior to filing this bill? Not a one.
None.
Yeah.
Not even the VACs. So we talk about transparency, and we have a relationship with our counties. Now, one of the superintendents was called that our counties were filing this bill behind us. And you talk about transparency. What is that? Is that transparency that you can't talk to the superintendents of your VACs saying that you're going to put up this toxic bill? It's a shame.
I'd just like to stress, not every VAC has a contentious relationship with their county. Like, we have a beautiful new building, and I don't want to lose sight of that.
Yeah.
However, I want to remind, if this bill passes, it fundamentally will dismantle the VACs and the autonomy of veteran services as we know it.
So your county people and all the other counties other than Cook County, if you have a great relationship with the VAC, the county politicians should get on the line to their state politicians and say, what are you doing with this? Because we got a great relationship.
Well, in Cook County, we thought we had a good relationship, and this was a shock coming to your constituents.
All right.
Yeah, one other
just
thing
like
you
I'm
need to
shocked that there was gambling going on in this establishment.
Yeah.
and that is Veterans Emergency Assistance.
Want to read some Fixed Bayonets, comrades? We're back for the second half Chief Guard of the Republic show. And I want Jen to say, on whose behalf are you here, Jen?
I am here representing the Illinois Association of County Veterans Assistance Commission as a president, not specifically in my role as superintendent of the Veterans Assistance Commission of Will County.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very specific. So like, I'm the adjutant for Post 104, but I'm not representing 104. I'm representing my show here. Jen is representing all of the VACs in Illinois as the president of all them. And how'd you get elected president of that?
I was nominated by my peers. I was very fortunate and am honored to be in this role.
So self-governing by veterans.
Yes, sir.
Okay, there
Correct.
you go. And we got a call. Hello.
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 Yeah. Who's on the line?
Sergeant Gandera.
Oh, okay, George.
Hi, George.
Hey, how are you?
You had something to say.
I just wanted. Oh no, I just wanted to reiterate about what Dutch was talking about. That number one, a lot of what's going on is we're not actually getting out the word to our veterans, not because of us, but because of some of the things that are being thrown in our position. Like you said, it's been hard to with the funding that always gets taken away to be redirected to other projects in the county, as we all know. Maybe somebody needs an office. I don't know. Somebody needs money somewhere, but we need to, continue to, do what we can for our fellow veterans. Because honestly, speaking as myself and my own truth as a Native American, we've been forgotten about, and that's basically what's happening to our veterans. We're forgotten about. It's really, really sad. We need to come together, and that's what we're doing. And I'm really appreciative of everything that you guys and we're all doing together. And we just really need to bring, focus upon those that are in power who are actually, throwing roadblocks. And it's happened with my people, throughout the years of our government. So we need to keep. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's a typical political tactic. If you don't want something to work, you're going to make them do everything but their job, and you're going to force them. You're going to instead of letting the VACC just do its job, which we would do, right? They're throwing extra work on there that's unnecessary to slow it down, to make it look bad. Like we need more government oversight to be more efficient, because they're causing us to be inefficient by all the government oversight we have. It's a vicious circle. We got another caller. Thanks, George, and I got your text up there. Okay. Thanks. George texted in. Hello, who's on the line now?
Frank Gutierrez.
Hi, Frank.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for taking my call. I'm president of the Veterans Assistance Commission of Cook County, and I really want to first thank you guys for bringing up this topic, because I want to kind of add some context to what's going on. And everybody that's been following the VACCC remembers, not long ago we were operating on a budget of $471,000 with 0 accredited VSOs and bringing back $0 of federal funding to Cook County. And today, this last quarter alone, we've brought in $10 million into this county with the VSOs we currently have on hand. And what we've learned is simple, something that you guys kept hammering on throughout this segment, is that the more VSOs means more federal dollars, and more federal dollars coming into the state. It doesn't just sit in, the veterans' bank account. It doesn't sit, in their house. They spend it at local businesses. They're taxed, and then money goes right back into the communities that, we're currently serving. I do want to bring up that, this bill talks about transparency. We take transparency very seriously. Our meetings are streamed live. We post it online. We publish agendas, minutes, reports, financials, bylaws, and we welcome additional feedback from anyone. Any one of our members could ask, hey, would you guys be able to, start sharing this information or that? I liked that report. Can we start putting that in our minutes? And, we do that. We do that because we want everybody to know that we are 100% transparent. We don't want anyone questioning our integrity. My concern with House Bill 5085 isn't just about it's not about transparency. It's about adding more layers, having more county control, slowing this down. And at the end of the day, the Veterans Assistance Commission, whichever county they operate in, they are a lifeline for low-income veterans facing financial hardships, veterans that are facing probably one of the worst moments in their life, and our services save lives when veterans are at their worst.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Frank. Frank, what I say is if we would have the demise of the VACs, suicides among veterans are catastrophic as it is. I've covered several, and I'm sure Jen has, and tried to help these families, this and that. So basically what you're doing is you'd be killing more veterans by doing away with the VACs. There's no doubt about it. And I'm just irate about this. And I have a great relationship with a lot of our commissioners, this and that. And I implore on all of you in the county systems, to look at your VACs and work with us. We are very much able to take care of ourselves. We don't need your oversight. It's like, I think there's a quote sometimes, I'm from the government, I'm here to help. Well, you know what? We can help ourselves.
That was Ronald Reagan said, what was that, 8 words or something? The 8 scariest words in the English language. I'm from the government, I'm here to help.
I'd like to point out also that Cook County has the greatest or the highest veteran population, the second in the nation, just right behind LA County. So the fact that it's even a fight for funding or to have more VSOs, I don't understand that. But when the gentleman mentioned that 5085 is going to be overly burdensome and create more work, the thing, we're already doing it. We are already a local unit of government who is beholden to OMA. We are beholden to FOIA. We adopt and adapt the county policies. So we are already doing what this bill is stating us.
Yes.
Transparency, this is funny. Transparency is a hollow word. It's like, if it saves one child, it's something the politicians used to like. They give, I've talked about it in the show before, they give nice words. They wordsmith, they wordplay. And every time I hear one of these things, I reverse it. I just flip it. I flip the switch on it. All right. And I'm like, nah, there's transparency is there. There's another reason for this. They're using a fun word. They think we want, what you said, Jen, is absolutely correct. All right. When they said we want for more transparency, but it's transparent enough. It's absolutely transparent enough. But they imply in their statement, this is psychological operations, they imply in their statement by using that word that we're not transparent, that the VACs are hiding things from the public, that there's secret backroom deals going on, and there's one guy in there that he's benefiting and he's going to become a millionaire out of this VACC. He's there to make money for himself. That's what they're implying, which is nothing could be further from the truth. There's so much oversight on this, right? That, yeah, I'm sure that somewhere a small percentage, and it's big with veterans organizations where their guys get in there and they rip off the organization. But there's scary things in place to keep that from happening, right?
Well, the NBA even states we have to have an annual audit. The majority of VACs, to include Will County, we process all of our payments through the county. They are a second, third check. So there really isn't anything that we can do that already does not have oversight and transparency. So it's impossible to run these departments in any other way.
We could take some.
Hey, Mike.
Yes.
Mike, there used to be a phrase that, somebody say, am I close enough? And you'd say, if I was any closer, I'd be on the other side of you. Well, in this case, if we were any more transparent, we'd be on the other side of it. And that's what they are. They're on the other side of it to tear it down.
Yeah, and using nice words. Everyone likes transparent, unless you're taking a shower in public, right? You want those opaque windows, right? But
More calls, Mike?
Yeah, we got another call on there.
Hi, this is John Lawson. How are you?
Hi, Mr. Lofton.
Hey, Jen. Hey, Dutch. How you doing?
Hey,
Very
John.
good, John.
Hey, so I want to talk a little bit more, about the bill itself, its effect on veterans downstate, not just Cook County, although Cook County has a significant portion of our veteran population. And give an example of what a VAC can do when it is adequately resourced. Just this past year, we had a female veteran just laid off from her job. The economy's kind of taken a downturn downstate. Didn't know what to do. So the first thing that we do is connect her with immediate financial assistance. We make sure the rent's paid. We make sure the utilities are caught up. We make sure she has food on her table for her and her child. The next thing that we do is we take a look at the full veteran. We want to know, is this veteran adequately compensated since the PACT Act changed a number of different issues with our veterans and how we're rated? Or is there alternatively a pension claim for non-service connected pensions? So after reviewing this veteran's file, putting her through our financial assistance program, connecting her with our county workforce development agency, she was able to, one, increase her compensation from 10% to 80%, which is substantial and life-changing, and then also found a job through the county and came off of the county rolls. That's the success story. That's happening every day at every VAC across the state. Yep. Inserting this bill in the quote-unquote name of transparency is actually going to hinder our ability to care for our veterans, keep them off the county rolls, and make them thrive in the community, not just become reliant upon another government agency.
Yeah, you see, they don't see the secondary and tertiary effects of their actions. All right. Well, and one of the things is, I think the VACs and these veterans,
or they do when they intend it that way.
Yeah, the VACs do this stuff quietly. Have you ever known a politician to do anything quietly?
Never.
They do the slightest thing, the slightest victory, they're screaming bloody murder like they deserve, the Nobel Peace Prize. But the VACs in the state and all the veterans organizations, they quietly help the veterans. The people don't see this. There's not a lot of visibility to the people. We need to bring that visibility out to the people. And one of the peoples that we need to bring the visibility out to, and to let them know that we're strong, right? That veterans are strong. We're united as veterans. Politically, yes, they think they could just, they have the misconception that veterans lean more conservative than liberal. All right.
I think there's one more point that we need to look at, too.
Sure.
That the statute is essentially telling veterans that we are not the best persons to determine for other veterans
Bingo.
What is just and necessary expense. There are so many county boards out there that don't even have a single veteran on them, not even one for perspective. But yet we invite and welcome a county board member as a representative of the county in all of our VACs. Not only is it because it's required by statute, because we also want to make sure that we are being transparent with the county board. If the county board doesn't know what's happening in their VAC, it's their own fault.
John, that's a great point, because we invite our commissioners that we do have a good relationship with, and Madam President, to all of our VAC meetings. So far, the one that shows up all the time happens to be Maggie Trevor. She's one of her assistants, and she's been wonderful. I talked to her, but you know what? You're always welcome. We are totally transparent. So that's why I think our veterans population is really hurt by some of these county boards that we're your constituents. They're actually going behind our back to make this bill up with powerful lobbying firms. And these powerful lobbying firms are just there to make money. So they make a cause so they can get paid. And you're paying them. Yeah. And then what you're doing is you're killing your veterans. It's unexcusable. It is absolutely unacceptable.
I'd like to also
piggyback. One last point.
We're going to let Jen talk now.
It's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry, John, I just wanted to piggyback and reiterate, you brought up a great point. VACs, we have the flexibility because we do not have as much bureaucratic red tape on the federal level. We can fill those gaps where the services may not be available on the federal or the state side in a more timely manner, and specifically what John brought up, if we're going to talk about homelessness for veterans. It is more fiscally responsible to be preventative than it is to be reactive to veteran homelessness. And if we can get them before they get to that point, we have saved the taxpayers a lot of money in doing that. So on the local level at the VACs, we can provide those services. And like John mentioned, once we get them into our office and we have them housed, now we can look at filing a claim, whether it's for pension or disability. So it's bringing more money back into the county, but also for that veteran to keep them housed, to keep them healthy. When you're looking at homelessness, it's not just the loss of a roof. There's other unintended consequences that lead to physical health. So now we have mental health, which is a huge. So there really is this snowball effect that we can work, again, without as much bureaucratic red tape. So we can have that immediate effect on them. It's not waiting 6 months for the VA to process a claim. We can help them right there on the spot.
And what other agency in a county brings in federal dollars that pays for themselves?
Correct.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think my last point here that I want to kind of drive home is, a couple of years ago when the NBAA was revised, it literally put the power back into the veterans and took it away from the county for a reason. It's because the counties were not responsive to the veterans' needs. and you look at how much these VACs have flourished and how much value that they have brought back to the county, how much benefit they have brought back to our veterans, for almost 100 years, there's not a county that could have matched it. And you have to really question the motive here. When it was stripped from you for a reason, it was given to the veterans. They are performing, and now you want to take it back while obstructing them along the way. It's just really harmful. It's really concerning, and there needs to be a lot of transparency in the why, who, and who is involved in filing this bill before we could even seriously consider it to passage into law.
Well, the other point is, though, veterans have an institutional knowledge. They have an experience that can be relied on, and as Jen said, gone to immediately. Whereas if you rely on non-veterans and politicians to get up to speed to know what the issues are or the nuances to each case, it's going to take forever. But you've already got in the system people that already had that experience, lived that thing, or know about it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why it's always better. Here's the way government runs things, right? For veterans, all right? So they wanted to have veterans put on your driver's license for veterans benefits and everything else. And so this is back in the day. And I go, oh, I got my 214 here, and I actually registered it with the state of Illinois. So they have copies, and they gave me a seal, like, you know, it's embossed, state of Illinois, right? So I got this 214. I got several of them. And I brought them to the Secretary of State's office. And I says, hey, put veteran. No. That's a 214. That's sealed. Here's my ID. Here's my military ID. Right? No. Well, why? Well, you need the stamp from the county. Well, where do I get that? Well, you get it at that office there. I says, hold on. And so I got to go all the way there, get a stamp on an already state of Illinois. This is in a county office, but they wanted the county thing there. That is the way government works. And then later on, it took a lot of veterans to get really ticked at that. And that was when Jesse White, who was a veteran, 101st Airborne Division, right? He was a veteran, Vietnam veteran, Jesse White, nice guy, met him and everything. He was the Secretary of State, and his employees were like obstructing, like on something really dumb of a rubber stamp on the back of an official 214. That's the way the government likes to run things.
Let's take some calls, John.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mike.
That's it. No more callers.
No more callers.
No more callers? Okay.
No more callers. Not even Larry? I think Larry's on a trip.
Well, can I mention something that there is supposed to be a hearing going on in Springfield the 21st, and it was Representative Manley from Will County that put this bill forward, and I invited her on this show because I would love to hear why you put this bill up. She happens to be the only sponsor, so that tells you something significant there. And I'm going to say, I know she says she couldn't make it, she had anything, but I'm sure she is listening to her aides. And she's still welcome to call in because I'll tell you what, I doubt very much, Representative, that you even know what the MVAA is about. I think you just signed that bill, just somebody told you to do it. At least I hope so, because this is probably the most atrocious bill I have seen in years, and I've been doing legislation for years with veterans groups. And we're shocked. The veterans community is actually shocked that this came out. And I actually seen from, what is it, ISCO? ISCO, okay. Whatever, their leader, Joe, and he says, oh, everybody's for this, and we're going to do it. You know what? You're getting paid for this. The counties are actually paying you to try to hammer us. That is unbelievable. So I'm dumbfounded.
They don't have any shame. There's no shame.
Well, I'm not going to say that because I do have a great relationship with a lot of these representatives. They've been wonderful to me. I can't begin to tell you the
representatives. I'm talking even the lobbyists.
The lobbyists, yeah. But even our, and that's why I'm so disappointed in some of. I don't know. We will find out. The veterans will find out what commissioners in Cook County were backing this bill, if any. I hope none of you did. I know there's 4 on the board, and I hope none of you had anything to do with this. I don't know why Cook County would even do this when you've seen the wonderful work that we are doing in Cook County. We are saving thousands of people.
I would like to see a very pro veteran Cook County board member at the next board meeting stand up and put into the minutes, put up for a vote for a resolution not to back 5085, and see how many of the Cook County board members vote yay.
Very good.
How many vote nay? I would love one pro-veteran to show, pro-veteran Cook County board member to show this, to stand up and have them put their money where their mouth is.
Yes, I'd like to see that too. And also, as you know, I've testified before the Cook County Board many times, and I've always ended up saying, if there's any issues, anything, you can call me personally. I'm happy to discuss anything with any of our commissioners or President Prickwinkle at any time. Any of our board members are on the VACCC. Our superintendent is always available, our deputy superintendent. We are there to work with you, okay? That's why I think our staff right now is in shock. I'm in shock. I always thought we had a great relationship.
We got another caller. Hello? Who's on the line?
Hello.
Hello, how are you doing, sir? What's your name?
It's Robert Arciola. I'm the treasurer of the Cook County Veterans.
Hi, Mr. Arciola.
Hi. I want to thank Dutch for being on today, and Jen, everyone who's called in as well. And I want to appeal to all the listeners to really write those letters and send them off to the legislators and put a kibosh to this bill. I really do believe that they don't know exactly what they're doing, or they do, and it's just behooves us to get on the ball and educate our society everywhere we live and get as many people to basically put a stop to it. We're limited as to what we can do, but we had a really good meeting about a week ago where we had the Heinz Auditorium pretty much filled, and it was jammed. And I wish that we could have known about this bill and done more at that particular meeting. But unfortunately, we might need to have an emergency meeting if this bill takes off. But I just want to tell everybody that a non-service connected veteran who happens to have a disability is living off of, basically, they're unemployable. They're living off of peanuts. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of need, whether they're living in Chicago, Southern Illinois, or some of the other poor communities in our state. And they really need help that Veterans Assistance Commissions can give them. And many of them are older, and obviously they're not working. Their life savings has been eaten up through many ways. Maybe they never had a quality job to save that kind of money anyway. But we need to really get on the horn and talk to our neighbors and friends and families and get our society educated about this kind of stuff, because this shouldn't be happening to veterans.
No, it shouldn't, Robert.
No.
If the money goes to some other cause, which I really pray it don't, veterans are going to be left to the wayside. Unfortunately, we've already seen that happen with many Cook County veterans for several years, due to the fact that Frank Gutierrez, our president, was on a few minutes ago and mentioned it. We operate off a budget of $400,000, and that budget was like that for several years. Our staff never got a raise. They never got any benefits from from the state government or county government. I mean, I don't know how they survived. I really don't. But I was affiliated way back when I was 24-ish, which is a long time ago, in the early 90s. And I was astounded to see how well organized the commission was back then. And I came back, and the core of us, probably a good 7 or 8 of us, and Dutch is one of them, help get this Cook County Veterans Assistance Commission up and going like it should now. We hired a superintendent and did all the interviews, and recommended her, and she's been taken off, and the staff is just doing a phenomenal job. And I got a lot of kudos for the staff and what they're doing. I got to tell a very short story. I was actually working with the superintendent of the commission, and I was on the phone with the bureau administrator with HR, and Dutch alluded to the struggles we had earlier trying to get additional staff, including service officers. Well, this is shortly after the state law changed, and I told the borough individual, I said, well, I guess since you're denying us the additional mid-year request for funds, that you're putting us in jeopardy of being in violation with state law. And that's going to fall on the county because the county's responsible to give us the money. We're saying we need it, and we passed the budget to get it, and we put it in this supplemental request. And the bureau, HR person couldn't do anything about it. Her hands were tied. And very quickly, the discussion led into how some other person in the county got enough money for, in the middle of the year, for a helicopter. I don't know where something like that happened, and you turn around and deny veterans pennies compared to something like that. It's really disgusting, but that's what we're fighting. There's a bunch of people who don't understand, and they need to be educated, and it's up to all of us.
Yeah, we've got a lot of calls coming in and a lot of texts, Robert. So I know you've been doing a great job. This is our treasurer for the VACCC, but somebody's got a text here, and they're talking about better penalties for claim sharks. We did that bill a couple of years ago. I was fortunate enough to be the VFW legislative chairman, and we do have a bill that has tremendous penalties for claim sharks. But you have to file with the Attorney General if you feel you've been defrauded with claim sharks.
Jen, a question popped up in my head on all this here, is that sometimes when someone puts in a bill, right, it's because something happened. There's like causality to it. Is there anything with the VACs that has happened recently that should be in the news saying that we're bad and need more oversight?
No, not that we're bad and we need more oversight. There are a few VACs who have had to sue their county for the funding for the bare minimum, the 0.02%.
Yeah, so it's the reverse. That one of their representatives should be in there putting a bill in to make this even easier for us than more difficult. Because we've been doing a pretty good job of it, and it's the counties, some counties, not all counties, but a couple counties are not being reasonable. So you're wondering why none of the reps from these counties that are pro-veteran will put in a bill making this easy. We'll go through this through the current law with a fine-tooth comb and say unnecessary, redundant, everything. Cross it out and say, oh, here's a bill to make this easier and simpler for the veteran.
Well, in 2022, we did pass 5184 unanimously through both the House and the Senate, and what that did was codify decades of case law into statute that was supposed to streamline the process for budgets and staffing. And
so there's really no reason for this bill. We got another caller.
Hello? Hello?
Nope.
Hello?
Maybe they drove into a tunnel.
I'm getting texts. A lot of people are trying to call in, so please hang in there. Don't hang up right away. We'll get to you. We're getting bombarded with texts, and I've actually even had a couple of texts from out of state, Florida, Philadelphia. So we're getting out there to quite a few people.
Yeah. I don't think the switchboard handles that many numbers.
No. This isn't like a massive studio here. Even
it's a great studio.
It's a beautiful studio. We can see the street and everything from here.
They wave at me all the time.
But anyway, 21st of April. Supposedly there's going to be a hearing on this in Springfield. I'm going to appeal to Representative Manley once again, which I did yesterday, to withdraw this silly bill. Okay. So and the commissioners that are all behind it, the counties that are behind this stuff, please do drop this bill. Save us the trouble of having to go down to Springfield, because it's going to be ugly. Okay.
What day is the 21st?
21st, I believe, is Tuesday or Wednesday. But save a lot of people a drive down there. And to those, I know there's a lot of people probably on the Veterans House Commission are listening here too. If we do have this hearing, please try to make it a large room because there's going to be a lot of veterans down there.
Yeah, carpool.
And anybody and all the commissioners that go down there to back this bill, we will know who you are. Thank you.
All right, got another caller here.
But I saved a lot of people. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Oh, hi. I'm waiting to speak on the show.
We got you.
Okay, thank you so much.
And your name?
Elizabeth Soto.
Hi, Elizabeth. Everyone knows Elizabeth.
I don't recognize that
Oh,
voice.
wonderful. Thank you. Hopefully in a good light. Only good things.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Superintendent.
Hi. Good morning, Dutch. Good morning, Madam President. Good morning, everyone. So,
Good morning.
I just want to reiterate what everyone's sentiment is from my perspective as Superintendent of the Veterans Assistance Commission of Cook County. My concern with House Bill 5085 is that it will weaken
I don't think
the
she knows
local
she's on
model
it.
that all of our veterans throughout this entire state
she knows.
depend on. This bill will add more layers of bureaucracy and will place more limits and restraints on how we operate, which will slow down services at the exact moment all of our veterans need help the most. And as VAC of Cook County President Mr. Frank Gutierrez stated a bit earlier, we the VACs are the lifeline for our veterans communities, and we do not have the luxury of failing any one of them due to oversight constraints because our veterans don't experience emergencies on a state timeline, and we have to make sure nothing interferes with our ability to respond quickly and effectively. And so just not to take up more time, I just want to end that I could not be more proud to have our VAC of Cook County's Junior Vice President, Mr. Dutch Degroot, and Superintendent of the Will County VAC and IAC VAC's Madam President Jen Solum at the helm fighting to kill this bill because that is exactly what needs to happen.
Thank you very much, Superintendent.
Thank you, ma'am. Well said.
See if anyone's got any more calls.
That was it. That was through the text line a call came through.
Wow.
So I put it on the
Nice.
that way.
Oh,
Yeah.
high tech.
You can get calls through there.
He
too.
is good.
Yeah, no, he's a good guy. Yeah, it's Google Voice. Yeah, it's Google Voice there. And
That's it.
Okay. Well, there's some text. You can read some if they got some text.
Yeah, they
text
got
all
the text,
over,
but
chats and stuff.
again, that's not another thing there. Okay, so Miss Manley, Representative Manley, and I know that Dutch texted her and asked her to be on the show, and she's welcome to be on the show anytime, except like in May, I'm going to have someone here on the show. But she's welcome to come on the show. All right. She's welcome to phone in. Well, we're polite. I don't argue. I try not to argue and scream at people. I get excited sometimes. I get emotional. But yeah, no. And like I said, some people are asking if we're politically leaning one way or another. No, we don't do that because we represent all the veterans. All right. And there's, I go as a veteran, I go out there to these groups and I see guys that, oh my God, I'm like, how could you have gone through all that in the Army and still think that way? And it's like, no, that's the way they are. That's their political views. And I shut that off. I shut off my political views. I look at them as a fellow veteran and give them a big hug because veterans need veterans to help them. Veterans will ignore, a good veteran's going to ignore your political side, right? And you're not going to show it to them. You're going to try not to. After hours, yeah, whatever. But that shouldn't separate you from the fact that like you said, the most at-need people, the most at-risk people, the first place they can go to and actually get immediate, as close as possible to immediate help while they're working things out is their VACs. Like right on the counties, now you got the Cook County Department of Veteran Affairs, the Cook County VA. They run a nice webpage. They have a very nice booklet that they put out. It's even online of where all the resources you can go to. Every once in a while, they run a job fair, but they're not going to help you with the rent. They're not going to help you with your bills. All right. Neither is the Illinois Department of Veteran Affairs. They're not going to hand you out money right away. They got VSO officers that'll help you apply for federal. The down to earth is the county the county, the VACs, the Veterans Assistants. Now, Veterans Administration, different words. Very important, the different words. Administration versus assistance. Veterans Assistance Commission. That's what they're there to do, to assist. All right. The only organization that is going to be capable of giving immediate assistance, except for like the ER at the VA, right? Immediate assistance. And yes, it is far more cheaper and better for the veteran and better for everyone total if you're an at-risk veteran and you're risking getting thrown out of your house, right? You get thrown out of your house. What do you do with all your stuff? You don't got money to pay for rent, or you don't got money to pay for storage. You don't got money to pay for moving. All that stuff is going to get lost. That's memories, stuff, everything else. And that's stuff that has to be replaced in the future, a lot of that stuff. If you don't get immediate help, you get help 6 months from now, all that stuff has been lost. There's 6 months of things. So to make it more difficult, using a nice word like transparent, to make it more difficult is literally a crime against humanity, I think. You have something that is working efficiently. It's working efficiently. It is doing the job. Why mess with it?
Well, in VACs, we assist, but we also advocate, and that's also a huge component. We advocate on many different levels, not just as veteran service officers. We advocate for veterans who need to get into healthcare. We advocate for veterans who need housing. We advocate for veterans who need assistance with new tires for their cars so they can get to work. Again, we fill the gaps where federal and state is not able to facilitate because we collaborate, we work together. We all have the same goal, is to assist the veteran. We also work with non-for-profits in our community. People, I don't want to lose sight. Yes, we're veteran-centric, but veterans are also members of the community, and most of them have been members of the community longer than they were ever in the military. So if they're not eligible for any resources through a VAC specifically, then we reach out to our non-for-profits and the community, our partners, again, to make sure that those gaps are filled. So we really do look at the whole. We don't just get focused on one very specific issue. We try to treat.
Well, that's the beauty of the VACs. They can do things that nobody else can do.
Yes.
And they have versatility where they can add or take away things if they're not successful. So we're trying to collaborate more of our VACs, if I got the picture right, where I know we're going to go with the bigger counties, and we're going to go nationwide right now, and we're going to see what are you doing better in Los Angeles that we're not doing in Cook County or Will County or Lake County, and make it better. So we're trying to improve. I've been involved with the VAC, I think, for about 5 years now. And when I walked into Cook County, it was a dumpster fire. I said, "This, what have you got yourself into?" And it turned out to be one of the best things I've ever done in my life, because I'm so grateful to be able to help all these veterans, to work with our amazing staff and other staffs that from the other VACs, because I get to all other VACs. I'm Uncle Dutch. So I do get out there, and they all know me. And I see the wonderful things that's happening in Illinois. Illinois, there's no other state that's doing what we're doing. And this is why it's just, I want to knock my head through the wall when I see a bill like this. There is nobody that's doing the things that we do in Illinois. When it comes to veteran satisfaction for all the benefits and things that we have, we need to be number one. We are number one in my life. And then I look at this bill, this horrendous bill, and I said, what would be next? What are you going to do? Take our real estate tax exemption away? What is the matter with you people? This money stays in the states. It makes us vibrant. We give more money to the state than we take.
Illinois does not tax retirement income. There are several other states that don't tax retirement income and everything. One of the reasons a veteran can stay here, because let's say, like me, retired military. Well, that military retirement doesn't get taxed, nor did my military pay get taxed. That's one of the nice things about the state of Illinois. Now, the disability and the saving on the property taxes. Well, before I was disabled, guess what I paid? Lots and lots of property taxes, right? So it's not like I never paid. It's not like I was born disabled or anything. That's there, all right? There's, like you said, Cook County, all these veterans and everything. All right. They went out and they served their country. They got hurt. I mean, they put me on a toxic waste dump and they knew about it. They wholeheartedly knew about this stuff. You know, the Agent Orange guys and I'm saying one of the troubles I see with the VAC, and Dutch is working real hard to fix it, is the quiet professionals. You don't hear us. You don't see us. We're doing great things for the veterans, but you don't hear, you don't see. We're too quiet. There's no visibility on this. You know, I didn't even know what a VAC was. I thought it was a brand new thing. I thought they just created this like yesterday, 5 years ago, when Dutch brought me into it. You know, and I'm like,
1874, yeah.
yeah, and I'm like, oh, this is a brand new thing. Oh, well, this is cool. This is great. This is what it should be like. Veterans helping veterans. Veterans self-governing this veteran organization. Not government, but governing, right?
Yes.
Directing it. But we're too quiet. The people don't see that. They're like, but they see the politicians because there's the news media, right? With the governor, you know.
I think you say quiet, but I would also argue humble. We don't do it for the accolades. I think we do need to be loud in order to spread the word and let our community know that we're here, but we don't do it for the reasons maybe necessarily the politicians want to advertise for us. We do it because we're veterans, we're serving veterans, we're boots on the ground, we want to make sure they're taken care of.
So we're a great, it's a great organization. And to put a little more perspective, a little vignette here, I once had a case that no one helped me on. My sergeant wouldn't help me on, the commander, lieutenant wouldn't help me on. I jumped through hoops, I got the case charged, and then I hear the commander talking to his buddies about what a great job he is as a leader because he got this case charged. I'm like, right? Well, I look at the politicians like this, they want to take credit for something, right? This is a great organization, and like, some people don't want the us versus them thing, all right? It kind of turns out that way sometimes, but I could see in this having, like, we're doing a great job, and regardless, regardless, even if they put all this, because we're veterans helping veterans, we're going to do everything we can to help the veterans. So if it gets rougher on us, we're still going to do it. But I guarantee you, as we still do it, even if this bill gets passed, which it shouldn't, this should be like a snowball in Hades, all right? If it gets passed, if we do anything good, the sole supporter of this bill is going to put all that glory on her. Going to say, the only reason this stuff, the VAC is working because of the bill I put in. Even though everyone's saying it's terrible to make it worse. They don't care. They want their piece of the pie. She could have did it to make it easier. You could have done one little thing, make it slightly easier to us, and then you could say, oh, it's doing great things because I did this one little thing. But they're not. In my brain, I'm looking at what is the cause of that. Like I said, as a detective, I can find the guy that committed the crime. I could have all the evidence that he committed the crime. And the jury could still not find him guilty, even though all the evidence points there. But if I tell the jury why he committed the crime, then the jury's like, sent life in prison. They find him guilty because now I could say, because they're looking at why would any person do that, right? They can't believe it. A lot of people can't believe it. They live in a bubble. So I got to look at why would she do this when it's absolutely this bad? It's transparently bad. It's like you can't hide how bad it is. What's behind it? Dutch, what do you think's behind it?
Wow. That's a $1 million question. And I don't know. Is it power? Is it greed? Is it trying to take control of the money? But I've never seen anything that I've been so shocked with such a terrible bill. And then Paul, you're an attorney, and I've heard this from other attorneys. And that bill, somebody told me that whoever crafted that bill, the attorney that crafted that bill, probably went to the Mickey Mouse School of Law. Okay, it's a pretty bad bill.
Well, it's stupid. I mean.
Thank you.
It's redundant. It's redundant to the law that's already there, which they're trying to put it inside of. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm befuddled. And if, like, again, commissioners, any of you, even if you did put in that bill or you were part of it, especially the Cook County commissioners, who you all know me. And when I testify before you every time, I always say, feel free to contact me. Please do. 847-814-2585. I'm happy to discuss anything veteran related with any of our commissioners at any time. You are always welcome to come to our meetings. We want you to see what we are doing. And the other VACs want their commissioners to come to our meetings too. See what we're doing. See what we're doing before you put in a toxic bill like this. And again, I know I'm reiterating myself, but that the way that it was done behind closed doors and put a knife in the back of the veterans, and we are your constituents, okay? You did this. You stabbed your veterans in the back. I don't know what bad advice you are getting or where you're getting it from, but I would look whoever is giving you that advice, and I'd get rid of them. Plain and simple.
I'm looking at it, I'm like, I could have a million reasons for them doing this. All of them bad because, benefited the doubt. She's not here to defend herself. She was offered a chance. Yes, it was kind of late. Yes, it's Holy Saturday. Yes, it's Easter weekend. We understand that. There is an open invitation for her to come on the show with or without Jen or Dutch here, all right? She is openly invited to be on this show.
And probably could do it remotely.
Right. We can Zoom her in if we have to. We got Matt, the best producer in the world.
This guy is good.
I'm surprised that, all these other big radio personalities haven't come in and bought him out, brought Matt out. Matt's got some loyalty to Dino, though. All right? But they should. They should. Matt's a great guy. Anyways, they're welcome. This is a transparency. This isn't it isn't intended to be a beatdown of anybody, right? I don't want to beat anyone down
agree.
Personally. I just want to say, if it's bad, it's bad. All right. If it's, I would see in the military, I was a doomsday guy, right? Because that's the way my anxiety treats me. I always think of the worst possible outcome. The worst possible outcome. And then you gotta, when you see the worst possible outcome, you gotta count, you gotta do, what do they call it? Risk management, but you gotta find ways to alleviate that, right? You still have to go somewhere, and I'm bad at words with this. So the worst possible outcome is that this bill gets passed. And so now, how do you avoid that? Well, the easiest step is don't get the bill passed, and it's withdraw the bill. All right, withdraw the bill. All right, and if we can establish pressure as the electorate, that's how the democracy works. All right, is that you establish pressure to get other people out there, to get your elected officials to do not what they want to do. That's not the way our government was formed. They're supposed to do what their constituents want them to do. Anything else is elitism. That's where you're saying, that's what they're saying here, elitism. No, the veterans, everyone looks at a veteran, it's like, hey, there's the guy that left high school, couldn't get a job, couldn't get into college, went to join the Army. They don't look at the veteran that got out of high school, maybe even didn't even get a GED back in the day, joined the Army, got his GED, got a degree while he's in the Army, came out, started a business, worked a business, is a very, very, very successful guy. They don't see those veterans. They hear about veterans that are having hard times. We're here. We're the successful guys. We're the successful guys, all right, that are pushing for the little guys that had a hard time, that had some hard knocks. We want them to be successful with us. We want to bring them up. This is doing nothing but helping to hold them down.
Yeah, Mike, one word I just want to tell everybody out there, and I know we've got an audience and a half out there, but just have a blessed Easter and blessed Passover for all my friends out there. And I really appreciate all the people that called in, and I'm sorry for all the people that didn't didn't get through. There was a ton, and maybe Jen's got a final say.
I would just like to reiterate, this bill, if it is passed, contradicts existing statutes, violates decades of case law, undermines VAC independence, and reintroduces political control into veteran services. Veterans resources are bipartisan, just like the veterans that we serve. And I really want to stress that what you mentioned before, there's this misconception that veterans all lean to one way. We don't. We're a hodgepodge. Politics need to stay out of veteran services.
Nothing would stop this faster than getting a hold of the governor and the speaker of the House.
Well, didn't he go?
I know his staff's been online here, okay, that they're watching.
Nothing would stop this faster because she'll withdraw the bill. If you guys put pressure on them, they won't call it. It'll get tabled, and then it'll stop it. And again, happy Easter, everybody.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. Chief Guard of the Republic will be here next week. Same time, same Chief Guard of the Republic channel. Keep your bayonets sharp and shiny.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.